Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man that is always heard and never ever will be seen, Skeens. Better than your averages, the channel and the movement. How Did We Get Here is the show. We got two cousins that are like brothers talking any and everything and the process. How did we get here? What's up with you, Skeen?
Not much. How's everything going, bro?
AKA the background killer.
That be me.
AKA the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, man.
AKA Dr. Claw. AKA
to be continued.
To be continued. AKA Clean Money. So without any further ado, y'all, we appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode, man. But let's get right to it, man. We got two very, 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 very special guests to the pod. We go back with these dudes, I don't know, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah, man. Might
be a little bit longer than that. But I got my man Chuck and my man Twiz, my brothers from another mother, on the line. What's up, brothers?
Yo, what's going on?
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, bro.
AKA Red and Myth.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I figured.
So, just a quick, as always, we want to send y'all love, peace, and blessings to you and your fam. But my two guys here, man, we all met each other working at a call center here called Verzuz. And we established a bond and a brotherhood that has spanned time, that has spanned distance. And, we just formed a bond. Chuck was coming representing the Carolinas, and Twiz was coming representing Delaware, and he was the first dude that I had ever met from Delaware. I didn't know nobody from Delaware. And he just came on a different, even the fact that I say type time, I got that from him, because he was he's like, man, they on a different type time, yo. And I'm like, what is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? And just different things I got from him. And Chuck came in the game, and Twiz can attest to this. He came and shook up the world at Convergence, because everybody women would come up to me, who is that dude? Because it started when Chuck I was the subject matter expert for his training class. And the women would come up to me like, yo, who is that tall dude in your class? And I'm like, Chuck. And they like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. And Chuck, of course, his swag was on 1 million. Twiz, you can attest to it. And we have so many stories that we're not going to share on here. But
Twiz, hold on. Twiz was the one that was swagged out. No. I was like a alien. Like, I just didn't know what I was doing.
No, that's real, because Twiz came on a whole, because there was dudes that we knew that was from the East Coast, but Twiz really was freshly from there. It wasn't, sometimes you have cats that come from other places and they like overdo it, but Twiz was authentically from there. And so I learned so much more about the culture from that side, because at one point he literally stayed down the street from me and Skeens, you know what I'm saying? So we all
up and moved, man. That's what it felt like too, man. I just, like, my family was out in Texas. It was like, you know what? I ain't got no kids. But fuck it, man. Let's move out to Texas.
Right.
But it was right up my alley. I'm from Delaware, so it's a little bit slower pace, and it was like a perfect set and clean. It's pretty much like a Delaware. You can get to everything. More like a central location. Yeah, that's pretty much Delaware. Like, you can hit everything. But yeah, it was dope, man.
Yeah,
blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? To meet people like you said, like you seen. It was official, man.
Indeed, because and Chuck, you can attest to this. I mean, we all, we was similar minded as far as music and stuff like that, culture. And Twiz, he was one of the low key funniest dude. I was like, this dude is like I always thought I was decently funny, but when I met him, I was like, yo, because especially I should be like, yo, Twiz, do the Ric Flair for me. So he would be doing the Ric Flair walk on the calls to the floor. He would do the skit from the Ludacris out. I get the money for my grandma.
We kind of picked up on similar funny things, man. Even comedy. I think that was comedy real big. I mean, in my life, man, that was like, oh, this dude, the music was the same. I like, man, I'm in Texas. How the fuck you like to say? How you like to say this is me? Like, all right, because everything was a culture shock, and I'm and like a military base, so it's
Indeed.
different cultures, and like that was like that was definitely different too. It was all at once. So yeah, I came down at a Mike Jones time. I think that's when everything.
Yeah, that was
going
around
on.
that time when that movement really got huge for real, for real. Now, Chuck, how did you? I can't remember how you ended up coming to Texas though.
I got sick. I was out there by way of the military.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Fort Hood was my last duty station. So by the time I got out, I had already got a job, like working actually back on the base. So I just kind of like hung around and started living there, man. And like it was different in a way, in the sense of when I met y'all, like it was a sense of like how we all, like you said, just kind of came together and bonded on some, you know, some things that you just don't find in every person. You know what I'm saying? So it just hit a little bit different. And like I said, like I really felt like it when we met or whatever, like that it was just like original. And I mean, it's proven to stand the test of time, man. Like y'all my boys, like family. Y'all know we'll call each other about anything. So
yeah. Chuck has. I mean, we gotta. I used to be missing these dudes, and you know, we would kind of just talk one on one from time to time. So then I just like, yo, we need to be in this group chat. So we start texting each other, and you know, sometimes it's early in the morning when Twiz is got thoughts and ideas going through his head, or Chuck might have a situation that he going through, or we might talk about some music or the game or a trade or, you know, whatever it is. But, you know, it's been a long time since we all been in the same space. But again, the bond and the brotherhood is still there. But with all that said, I wanted to get y'all's opinion. We're going to jump into a couple things, but I wanted to actually 2 episodes ago, Skeens and I talked about something. And then one of my homegirls checked me on it and said that we need to have some female representation on the show, which we don't have yet. But so sorry, it's going to be some more male perspective on it. But Skeens and I was discussing basically the idea of basically why do women feel that they have to do, or why do we see this ridiculous nature and outlandish body alterations that women make? And Skeens and I were drawing a correlation that oftentimes you may see these women that have a lot of what we call social currency based off social media following, but does it relate in those women having long-lasting, fruitful relationships? So that's the question I asked you to, what your thoughts are. But her critique to me was that, Jay, you are presupposing that every woman wants to every woman is heterosexual and every woman wants to get married and have kids. And I'm like, my argument to her was that while we see that there's a falling away from that as the society becomes more modernized, but I still think in general and on average, most women are looking to have a solid relationship with a solid dude and raising a family. But what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you would want to think that would be every woman's goal, is to like meet a good dude and get married. But I mean, in this, you know, sad to say, realistic world, a lot of them aren't thinking like that. The plastic surgery that you mentioned or whatever, I mean, that's what I feel like society and that social media clout has them chasing after. Like, it's in your face, like you see these girls with these perfect bodies on IG, whatever and stuff, and so you know they hearing what's coming through the speakers and what they seeing, you know, when they scrolling, and so that's hot to them. Like that's where the mindset goes, and a lot of those things that make having you a worthy, you know, compatible mate goes out the window, because I feel like you selling out a lot of that just to get that. So is it even going to be worth it by the time they get there? I don't know. Like, that's just my off the top opinion about it. Like,
no, that's how we want it, off the cuff. Twiz, what you got?
Yeah. I say I think most normal women don't want to get like body alterations. I think they look at it and, you know, they might get discouraged with, you know, what they got. They might talk about it. But most of them are confident in what they got. I mean, they can go online open up the app and get 15 dudes that wouldn't give a, you know what, about. Like,
oh, he censored himself. Wait a minute. He censored himself. He censored himself, ladies and gentlemen.
Take it how it comes. I'm trying to help you.
I love you, man.
But nah, I don't think most of them worry about it. I think the ones that's in that space, I mean, it's competition.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
They going for the goal. Like they doing whatever and however to get that.
I mean, that's like
to get that ball player, to get that. You know what I'm saying? Like they going all out for that. That's a part of it.
But it is a small percentage. It's shown to us on a daily
Right.
because it's what they see. So I don't really feed too much into it. I mean, the ones who want to get it done, I just
And the thing, sometimes
talk
you don't even
to
understand.
a real big girl. You know what I
It
mean?
don't even be that serious. Like, I think they find the way they are. Like, you're going to have
Exactly.
your pick of the litter as far as, like, what you like. You have your preferences. So, a lot of times, you're going to get the closest thing to that. So, I mean, I don't feel the pressure of it. Like, you know, dudes, we got to take it how we come. Like, you know, we ain't out here to go and see the dude to get no type of shit. I don't know. It might be some dudes that might be on that type of level. It's just like, we don't feel like we got to compete with the next one. Like,
no, but you normally do. Most of the women do want to settle down, but now you know they got the alterations. They still got options.
Right.
So they're now in a position of where you know the men who are highly favored, what all that, they're in that realm. So now you got to have restraint, like you've been wanting them to have. Like the same, you got money. Why are you cheating? Now you in that position. It ain't money all the time. It's your position. You're a beautiful woman. You settled down. Now you have to restrain yourself and be like, I can have this, and that, but I'm comfortable where I'm at, but want more. Just like most men who got money and can have another beautiful woman, they want more. It go both ways, but you got to take what comes with it. Most dudes they consider dogs. So if a female do it, then you're going to be considered. But you got to take it. Most men take it, and they take it on the chin. It don't get looked at better. They're not going to go out and get a beautiful lawyer. They got to deal with the realm of females they catch like that.
Yeah, I think.
So, I mean,
it's levels to it, man.
Yeah, I think, and for the most part, and we're going slightly to a tangent here, but I think, and Skeens and I again always talk about this. Women, in their minds, this is an example we often give. A woman generally is not gonna pull up to a McDonald's and see her husband in the drive-thru. But a man could pull up to that same McDonald's and find his wife at the drive-thru because we're evaluated from two totally different places. Now, women, again, for the most part, I don't think, because again, we go off of the law of averages because we want people to have successful outcomes based on the averages, not on anomalies or outliers.
But to give a woman a credit, though, but to give a woman credit, a woman in that job might give him that shot. Like a female that's working with him in that McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a shot. She you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, oftentimes
not that they won't.
You can see that a woman, if you start out at the same level, you might have a chance where that chick will rock with you where you at the same place. But generally, chicks are trying to date and marry up. You know what I'm saying? They want a guy that's got more, at least equal, but usually more than what they got. Now, my assertion is that for the most part, the average dude is not asking for a woman to alter her body this certain way. So then the question therein lies, what are women doing it for? And oftentimes, like you talked about the competition piece, is to one up the next chick. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not asking chicks to put 3-inch eyelashes in. No dude is asking for that. I'm just saying we not.
Never.
In general, a dude just want a chick that's cool, agreeable. I got a peaceful household, and you let me get it in when I want to. I mean, that's pretty much what we're looking for. we're very, very simple. Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, and that's total fact, man. Like, at the end of the day, like, that's the ultimate, thing. Like, to have that person in your corner that, got your back and got those qualities that you're looking for, so you can, like, hey, A, B, C, and D is taken care of across the board. Like, you don't have no reason to try to stray or go elsewhere,
Yeah, Skeens, what you got, baby?
Man, I'm just sitting back and enjoying because I'm the bad guy for most of the time,
right?
And I will say what I'm gonna tell the truth, or say the things that some people won't say. But like you were saying, bro, it's a competition between when it comes to, because everyone is shooting high. But the real thing is, are you shooting your shot for the man? Or are you shooting your shot because you're trying to shoot down every woman? Because a lot of it is you're competing against each other,
right?
It's not because of the guy.
She's shooting for the bag. Shooting for the bag.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like a man can pull up to McDonald's to find his wife.
Mm-hmm.
The only way a man that works at McDonald's gonna get that woman that's not a coworker is if he's finessed her.
Okay. Yeah.
Your finesse game gotta be strong. You meet her out somewhere else. Right. You done finessed her, and then later on say, "Oh, she
this is where you. This what you do." No, I thought you looked familiar.
Hey, we got 2 cookies for $1. Then she pulled up to the door, to the window. Ryan, you work here,
right?
You like, I got my side hustle,
yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most women are going to look down on that guy because he doesn't represent the ideology. Absolutely, because he doesn't represent what IG and all of social media tells her that she's supposed to have.
Mm-hmm. She deserves.
Yes, that she deserves, regardless of the work that she's put in to achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I've been told I deserve a raise don't mean I qualify for it. If I came to work late every day,
right, and
missed half and called in 4 times a week, that doesn't mean I deserve a raise.
Right.
Just because somebody tell me I should have one.
Right. Indeed. Yeah. So let's transition real quick before we get into our main topic. We've been talking about it via text message and stuff, but for the hip hop heads out there, it was a momentous occasion, with the Verzuz battle. And for those that don't know, Verzuz came up during the pandemic, and they've had a number of quote unquote battles, or where different R&B artists, hip hop artists, basically play their music catalog, and then it's left up to us as the consumers to decide who was the winner. But I think this is probably the best one to me.
That's what I'm about to ask.
Thus far. But we had the Diplomats via Harlem versus the Locks by way of Yonkers, New York. And man, it got real crazy real quick. But I think the Locks kind of separated themselves in kind of letting us know what hip hop, right? What I mean, that's what it is. But Chuck, let me know what you thought about the Verzuz between them as a whole.
Man, we was, like you said, we was in the text beforehand, and it went the way I thought it was gonna go. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad and that obvious, but it came to the light. D Block, LOX, man, Kiss did they thing. Like, I mean, he said it on the first album, man, top 5 Dead or Alive.
Yeah,
and that's just off one LP.
Yeah.
And I think that moment in hip hop right there solidified it for me. And I think for a lot of other people, if they didn't know, now they know. Like, the Kid always been, that was one of the groups we all, like, that was back in the day. Somebody would come in and, somebody will say a line and we gonna all pick up on it. Like, that was our stuff, man. Like, I mean, those lines still, it's crazy that hearing that the other night, some of those lines still, some of those bars are still so heavy, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it was a great night for hip hop, man. Like, that gave me, just watching it live gave me that feeling like that you don't get a lot. And by far, like you said, I agree, that was one of the biggest ones I've seen, bro.
Yeah. Twiz, how'd you think it was gonna go? Similar?
Yeah.
pretty much I said it like I said, Jada the cheat code. I was just it was I had fun just watching Styles P all week. Like for the
Yeah, him and Jimmy. Yeah.
I was there like, yo, why it ain't starting and like his confidence. I'm like, yeah, I don't think Jim Johnson is saying that. Like this shit is about to get crazy. Like and the fact that a lot of them didn't know, even though it was a big New York spot. Some of them didn't know some of the locks drinks it was gonna play. Like they didn't know them. Like and it was like alley oops. Like
it was like they was feeding off each other, man. Them boys still like still in connection.
But it was it still was a good display. It was just like how dope it is that you and your boys, like you could tell they rock together.
Right. That's one of the biggest differences I think that they showed is that they actually still rock with each other. And Dipset, I don't think they fool with each other like they once did. You know what I'm saying? But I think Skeens and I thought actually that I'm more of a I like locks better than Dipset, but I thought that those Heatmaker tracks with more of the more simplistic raps will go over different in that audience. But for me, it was an eye opener to me how much people was rocking with the bars from Jadakiss, and even that they was able to recite some of that stuff. And I was like, I didn't think the kids would know it like that. Yeah.
But like you could tell, like, yo, but Jada was he already showed you with my man. Like he already did it.
Yeah.
It was effort. Well, the one with Fab, you got the drunk Jada. Like he played some stuff, but he didn't hit him with none of the. He didn't body slam him with none of the freestyle.
But it was it was the same thing everybody was saying, like, they got too many hits, man. It was like, but this one is like this one. But it didn't matter. It was the presence. It was he performed the same way. It was just it wasn't like the energy was different. The energy, the competition wasn't there. It was like, all right, this is my people's. I love him. Come on, we're gonna have fun. But this one was like, it gotta be the only other verses.
After Cam ran out of hits, it was over for them.
It wasn't even that they was out of hits though. Like they just, if they would have had like Hell Rail or like somebody who really like Ankaza, like if they would have had him come out like who really spit bars, that would have matched.
They needed bars.
They know they run. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna get it done. Yeah. They would have had to pull out like real Dipset. You got to pull out the real Dipset, man. Like it was a couple of them that they should have had. Like they should have had like wowed the crowd with a couple more Dipset cats.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw it to you in just a second, Scheme. But here's my two takes. When it really highlighted, I think, for people how simplified those Dipset bars were. And when Cam did the infamous computers Putin, I was like, and here's the other thing.
He's trying to do an acapella, bro.
Right. And he was getting booed. But here's the part two. Watch this.
Man, you already know I love Cam. I used to be the
yo, Twiz used to be able to fight somebody talking about Cam. But
you already know, man.
So but watch this though. I can't confirm or deny this, but this is my hot take. Dipset set the groundwork for how battle rappers rap right now, in a way. Yep. Me and Skeens, when we play around rapping at the house, like we from URL, it's something like this. I told them things was on fire. And then when I went out there, I set them things on fire. They had to call the fire department out because that man was on fire. Oh, you know, they just keep saying.
Okay. That's set up punch.
And you know, like Jewels, I had my man, he was sent up. Tell him that, have him sent up. When he was sent, you know, I'm like, that was like the precursor to how battle rappers rap now. You know what I'm saying? But let me throw it to Skeens though, real quick. What was your take, man?
Bro, I think the biggest thing was we saw you saw people who really took the craft serious.
There you go.
So when you watch the Locks, you saw one, you saw showmanship.
Boom.
You saw chemistry.
Yep.
You saw how they was able to control the crowd.
There you go.
As well as their playlist.
Fact.
So when you
it was well orchestrated.
So when you look at like Dipset, you can tell the difference. One, you can tell Cam don't really rock with them no more.
No, at all.
It was time that you could see Jim. Jim was the guy. Like,
Hey, Fat Joe said that Cam was about to leave at the beginning. Because it was times I was looking for Cam. Like, did Cam have to catch a flight?
It was, several times.
That was Cam was the hold up. If you look, he was the last one to get to the stage.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He was probably out in the car.
And you watched it like you saw even when Santana was rapping.
Yeah.
You saw Jim hype man.
Right.
You didn't really see Cam like.
Nah, Cam wasn't engaged to me. He wasn't engaged.
And Cam, I mean, then also,
can we
what's up?
Paul? Can we talk about what Joel had on though?
Bro, my God, bro. Hey, he looked better when he simplified the fit. Like, bro, why did you just come out with that?
I told Twiz, hey, we were in the group. Twiz said this dude looked like he wanted to wear something from every album cover.
Man,
I was shocked.
And
Man.
that's crazy because they're known for like they swag.
Yeah, Harlem dudes.
It
man.
was like, yo,
Yeah. But see, that was what they brought. It was something. It was just it should have came with. But I guarantee they gonna be on tour. That shit gonna get better.
They supposed to go on tour together.
Bro.
That shit gonna, they said it's gonna get better. So that's what's gonna be dope about it. It's just for them to they underestimate it. It's like how you underestimate the Locks though. Like
Right.
I know they're older. I know your swag better. Like I get it. But dog, you gotta rap.
Hey, Jules.
That was part of that was a part such a we see now how such a big part of their makeup that was. Like the change, the swag, you know what I'm saying? Just the braggadociousry in the lyrics or
that's
whatever.
exact. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a whole part of their package. And when you have to do it live, like, you know, when the people in there feeding off the bars, like the DJ should have switched it up. Like when Joel started talking about the women records, like that was they didn't have that set up. The DJ heard that shit was like, all right,
that was a backup.
I'm gonna hit them with the hey man and all that. Like they wasn't prepared, man. Like they went in there and got a hammer hit from the word man. Like when Jada and them came out the gate, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I blame that on the DJ. The DJ is the coach, man. Yeah. The DJ fucked that one up. He should have been like, nah, we doing this one.
He was a cheat. He was also the cheat code.
Yeah.
The way he was flipping beats.
He killed that shit.
Yeah.
Yes, he was
killing it. He was throwing classic beats. Exactly.
Bro, he was a whole party before the thing got started. I was through half a bottle of wine by the time they got on stage. Like that dude had me going. Like, but y'all crazy if y'all didn't know what it's Cam. Like you should have known it was going to be on, or it wasn't going to be on time.
But Cam the playlist was horrible. He didn't play "What Mean the World to You."
Bruh. It was so many joints that they left off the list though.
But the Locks left off a lot of
They did
too.
The energy was fucked up from the beginning when he said you live in Miami.
Yeah.
The Locks were killing it with a lot of the Locks was killing them with like mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really hit them because you saw at the end. That's when they started. When Kiss said we got Grammys, they left a lot of the big records out.
They left a lot on the table, but I think it was a great display of for me just what we love about the essence of just being an MC, where you can just give a dude. Really, I could picture Kiss just anywhere, and he could rock a show. You know what I'm saying? Just however you want to do it, acapellas, freestyles, whatever you want. So it just really showed that there's something to being a true MC, and when you have real records, real rhymes, that is timeless.
But also, I hope
it's gonna be hard to follow that, man.
Yeah. But I hope a lot of younger artists really take something from the way the Locks perform when it comes to shows.
Yeah, indeed.
Understand when you're on tour, this is what your show's supposed to be like.
Right.
Because you have a lot of concerts now. Kids don't really have they don't have stage presence, and a lot of them do. Like what the Locks, Dipset did, you basically have the music in the background, you have the pre-sound, and you got your vocals, and you basically say your ad libs, a little bit of rapping here and there.
Right.
You saw with a real show, when I pay my hard-earned money, I really want to be entertained. I don't want you like Kiss said. I can do. I can listen to this over Apple Music. If you just go,
Kiss. That was another. Kiss was showing again the difference. They don't even know the words. We could have listened to this on Apple Music. I was like,
yeah. So, and I hope young cats understand that your show money is your money. Especially now with the 360 deals and so on and so forth. Yep. You're not really making money off album sales. You're making money off the show. Yeah. But the way the Locks perform should tell cats, if I want my show money to increase or to continue, I gotta go. When I go on stage, I gotta give 150% and really put on a memorable show.
Indeed. Yeah. Last but not least, though, Twiz had one of the best jokes on Jewels, and then she's not always even that funny to me, but just hilarious. Was like, he looked like he's selling everything he got on. I was like, I said, this is hilarious.
His fit was dated, bro. Like he had that dated swag like my man.
Oh my God.
What was it? I'm gonna get you sucker.
When Fly Guy came out of jail, that was Jewels.
The whole look like the old uncles, like at the barbecue, like still trying to hold on to it. Like,
I still got it.
He was trying, man. Look, but he's trying to give everybody a little bit of everything.
Hey, before we jump into our main topic, I saw when Siegel was on Drink Champs, and Nori was hitting around about him and Siegel having a versus battle, but he was like, you can't play
the same thing as Jada.
He talking about you can't play no joints though that got Jay in it though. Like he trying to hedge the bet already, kind of. But
but it don't matter. He's like Jada. He's a cheat code. He got tracks. He don't gotta get. He got tracks with Jay on it, but it don't gotta get to Jay's verse because he was eating. He got 3 albums he could just use. Like I'm waiting for that one. Yeah, he's too confident too. I fuck with Nori, but he's too confident.
Yeah. I mean, Nori has some, again, like me and Skeens was talking about, it is similar because Nori had joints and he was good production-wise, but I didn't love Nori because he was necessarily killing the mic, though. I didn't consider like him a spitter like that. You know what I'm saying? But Siegel...
Nori got 8 of them things.
Right.
Nori got 8 smooth, but he got like 13, 14... He could play some hits.
Yeah.
But
listen,
just to wrap up that whole thing, like how much bigger can the joint get, man?
Right.
Like that was monumental that we saw. Like the only other one I can think of, man, is like the ultimate one gonna have to be Jay and Nas, man.
Oh my God. That will set the internet will break down.
I'm gonna tell you the one that I think will be low key better than that.
Better than Jay and Nas?
Jay and Kanye.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Jay and Kanye, that's the real one. And then they can play off the Big Brother thing, the brotherly love, Cain and Abel type. They can play a lot of that. Hey, as much as I love Jay, Kanye gonna be a hard out, bro.
Oh yeah, Kanye. I mean, as much as we, Kanye thinks he's done recently,
Kanye gonna be a hard out.
Kanye is a once a century type of talent. You know what I'm saying? That kind of talent of a person, man. So
the other one I would want to see, it would be Wayne and Drake.
Okay.
Mentor.
See, you got people that's like in the same camp though. That's wild.
But also it's the competitive energy.
I got it.
Internal.
It's internal. I think they would do it only with them, honestly, because like you said, they wouldn't mind. It's not a loss to them because Jay versus Kanye.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say who won the battle, but between them, there ain't no winners or losers. So
no.
I think, honestly, they would do it amongst them before they would do it with anybody else.
I just think about cats like them two, though. How do you, or Wayne or Drake, how many songs we playing, though?
Hey,
that'll be like a 40 song a piece.
Wayne got about 200 mixtapes.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, what are you gonna whittle it down to?
Okay, let's go Nas, right?
After this, it's a concert. Man.
Okay, Nas and Ice Cube.
That is an odd combination.
Legends. Cube got a lot. Cube.
Like
Cube got
Is that-
Cube is
but-
deep.
But is that crowd that's gonna show up to watch that? Are they gonna get along?
I mean, I think at this stage of the game, yeah, I think so. But
Yeah, I think we're bypassed all that other
man.
nonsense.
Cam put his foot on my man's chest. Like he really kicked him, bro.
he did.
Man, like, come on. Anything else? Everybody else should be cool. Everybody else, come on, man, cut it out. If they good, everybody else cut it out, man. Just have fun. That was super competitive. It was dope. Like, if y'all not performing like that, win, lose, or draw, because I still like this shit, and I like the energy they came with. They just didn't have everything.
Nah, they didn't.
You gotta. I need some shit like that. I need all that.
Yeah, yeah.
What about Twister? And trying to think. Either Twister and Tech Nine or Twister and Buster.
Twister versus Buster.
Or Tech Nine.
I think Buster got too many known.
Tech Nine.
Buster's
I think Buster and Missy is gonna be the one.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Creativity.
I would love to see that.
Buster and Missy.
Or I would put Buster versus Luda.
Yeah,
I would do Buster Luda.
Yeah, and I think people underestimate how good Luda is.
They do. They do. Luda. People
think,
forget about that Luda run, man.
I think because he even when he was really rapping. No. Oh, no, he did. He did with Nelly.
Did he?
He killed Nelly.
I don't even remember that.
And people thought because Nelly had the number one hits, there was another chance for you to see.
I never took Nelly serious, man, as a rapper.
Hey,
he was a cornball.
Hey, yo, hey, but same time, Nelly is what you see now.
Yeah, in many ways he is. Yeah.
Everybody's singing. Yeah. You know, the singing rap. Nelly was like really one of the godfathers of today. Only thing he was missing was auto-tune. Yeah.
Singing and the rapping on the country grammar.
Yeah, the crossover, even the down baby. Nelly was that. It was basically, it wasn't complex. It was more of, I guess you can say, quote unquote, nursery rhyme. Mm-hmm. It was simple, but it was more of like about the vibe than the actual lyrics.
Yeah, like you said, I put Nelly in like a whole different category of rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they put him
I respect what he did, but yeah, Nelly, I don't put him in the pantheon with others.
He was saying some things though, cause like you got to listen to it. He was saying some things. It seemed like it surfacely because it was pop or they made it like his mad shit. Yeah. I mean, they were lingo down there a little different, so I picked up on that late. Like, all right. That's what he meant.
I'm gonna admit I have never listened to a complete Nelly album. I've never listened to an album.
I've never down baby.
Oh yeah, when you hear the actual the radio version, it's a little different. Like, it hit a little different.
Like yo, that Nelly dropped me. I'm not checking title for that one.
Nah.
Saying, back in the day, he was you clowning now, but back in the day. You was listening to him.
I was listening to those singles. I mean, I know I danced to Hot Here in the club a few. You know, that was like on the DJ set to play Hot Here during that time. That was on every DJ set. That was every DJ set. Every DJ set was to play Hot Here at some point in the night, because girls was women was getting on the dance floor to that.
Hey, another side note: all the women that's on OnlyFans should thank Nelly. Tip drill.
Well, that definitely was a cultural moment.
I take that back. That was probably the one thing I can say he gave the game that really changed up the way some things were did. Like, that broke some boundaries. So shout out to him for that. Like,
BET Uncut. BET Uncut.
You had the Band-Aid under your eye. Like, cut it out,
Yep.
man.
Yep, indeed.
Had the Band-Aid under his eye.
Chuck, if you better not have a Band-Aid on this. But let's jump into this though. The reason why initially, of course, me and Skeens have been talking about having you guys on for a minute just to get, I want us to, kind of get to a decent little rotation of you guys coming on, just talking culture, music, sports, what have you. But the primary reason I wanted y'all to come on today is so we can discuss, because these two triggered it because we were on the group chat talking about dating and relationships and da-da-da-da-da. And in so many words, Twiz was like, man, you an old head now. You don't know nothing about none of this stuff that's going on right now. And I'm like, all right. Even though Chuck is the oldest because he never disclosed exactly how old he is. But I'm the old head as far as that's concerned. So I just wanted to get some of y'all's experience just so y'all can give a man's view of what the dating game, what it was like before, when we could say maybe when we were coming up, in our early 20s or what have you, to what it has changed to now. But Twiz, if you could think about how dating was, when we were 20, 21, 22, that time frame, 23 to now, what's the biggest difference between that point in the the early 2000s to now?
Me too. That's about. I say that's about it. A lot of the stuff the women accepted then, and they allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Not, not accepted and allowed now. Mm-hmm. But that was attractive then.
Mm-hmm.
So they gravitated to it. So a lot of the stuff that seemed like it was taboo or you wouldn't do, or, showing your head, stuff like that, like that shit was like normal. So I mean, as far as dating, it was kind of like Wild Wild West. It was cool. I was laid back, so I guess for different people, I wasn't the one to grab one in the club. We had that was our easy money sniper. Red Chuck was the easy money sniper in the club. Like I ain't had a club game. You know what I mean? He was KB in the club. Yeah. And I was like, all right, it might be a bunch of five, and we get back to the crib, and the ones who ain't on the rah, out of those 5 is 2. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones I'm talking to. Like, that was always my vibe. So it never really changed much. Like you said, just more the what we talked about earlier, just the body type different, the confidence, attitude a little bit different. So back then it was just more of you didn't have to fight these people thinking you BS. Yeah. And a whole bunch of social media and people's opinions.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with him when he's talking about like the mindset. I think like just women in general, it's been a lot of growth. Like you said, some of the things that was dealt with as far as like being in a relationship with somebody, like a lot of those things like women are a lot stronger towards now with guys. So you really gotta be like like in layman's terms, like on your shit, like I'm sorry, I ain't hit the censor button, but
Go ahead.
I guess that I could say one of the biggest changes between then and now, like it's just for me being able to look in the mirror at myself, bro. Like you know what I'm saying, like in between some of those rocky relationships, just taking that time to actually kind of step back and fix some of those things that were causing you to like pull out of those relationships. So. When you're hitting the scene now, when it's still like you're looking for that, like it's definitely a little bit different, man. Like a lot of the good ones are taken. Not saying that it aren't still some out there, but like it's a different ball game. Like the mindset's different. Like, and it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we joke with you about it, but it's kind of in a sense like. We kind of looking like the old cats, you know what I'm saying? like at the picture now, like, girl, that's your uncle. You know me? So, yeah, man, it's definitely different out here, man. It's good though, man.
Watch this though. The one thing that was always hilarious about Twiz is Twiz was, like he said, he was always a straight shooter. And some of the funniest times, and I have evolved some in the way that I position stuff when people ask me my opinion. But at that time, I ain't gonna lie, I was a dude that would come in and try to Twiz would be over there, yo, if you was my girl, yo, this, that, and the third, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then they'd be like, Jay, what do you think about that? And I'm like, well, you know, in a relationship, you know, you both got to be on the same sheet of music, and you know, from a position of love and respect, you got to be da-da-da-da-da. And they'd be like, yeah, that's right. He's like, yo, that's what I was just saying. You know, I'm like, so Twiz, you know, they got this whole movement now talking about red pill, but really Twiz was red pill back in 2002. He was a red pill man back then. Now it's becoming more prevalent. And also to piggyback off what y'all saying, back then, men and women related a whole different way than they do. Because at that time, even though Twiz, you were laid back, you actually were in a space where you would go up, speak to a female, and initiate this whole thing. Chuck, you would go up, holler. Chuck would be on his swag, yo, da da da, and me and Twiz be saying, oh my God. But anyway, but you initiated conversation with women. You know what I'm saying? Now these dudes, one of the homegirls was telling me a while back, like she could tell a guy in the gym wanted to talk to her, but these new age cats don't even have the equipment, the wherewithal to even really go up and generate a conversation with a woman. That's why they got all these online coaches and stuff like that.
I'm so happy you said that, man, because to me, that's one of the things like that just makes it a little bit more genuine, a little bit more authentic. Back when we was coming up and in the game, like, bro, you had to actually have game.
Right.
Like, so many of these cats now can fake it because you hiding behind, like, text messages and online and this and that or whatever. Like,
right. Yep.
That takes a lot of that out of the game. So when you see people out or, you know, dudes moving the way that they do, it's like, you know what, like, a lot of real dudes get overlooked on the fact that some cornballs like stuff, like just with the whole social media thing, and they have to go through that process to finally get around dude to find that out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because
sometimes I think.
No, go ahead, Twiz.
I was gonna say sometimes dudes just they scared to hear no. Like, look, man, you can't be scared to hear no, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is what it is.
Like, the official way to holler at a chick now, whatever, is the inbox. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, the DM. Like, Gotti nailed it a few years ago with that down in the DM.
Down in the
like,
DM.
That's what it is now. Like, you know, that's the standard now for even getting somebody's number or something or whatever. Like, they even, these joints these days, they want you to hit the Cash App, this and that. Like, what? Like, hold on. Like,
you hit the DM on a female, you cut off.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you hit the DM on a female, you cut off. That's not what they're looking for, though. They're not really checking DMs. Like, they're doing that for the dudes that they want to get cash outside of. So, yeah, I mean, they're not really checking for stuff like that. Like I said, that's kind of again the few and far between joints. But if you're looking for that, then that's what you're gonna get. If you online, and those type of inboxes, like you want to join that, you know you ain't gonna get that. So what are you in her inbox for?
Right. If you just looking for something late night, then maybe something will fall through. But for the most part, no. Like, I'd rather meet some, you know what I'm saying, something eccentric down at a poetry lounge or something like that. Something where it can be more of an organic meeting. Like, whatever happened just being out and stumbling across something. Like, y'all remember those days when we just bump into something out? Like, not even really where you going, but it just kind of happened like that. Like,
nah, that's just you. That's just you.
Man, here we go.
So there we go.
You the only one who stumbled in the joint.
Man, someone
stumbled in the joint. Like, who stumbles in the joint? Like, come on now.
I had a homie that this is a female though, but again during that time, Chuck, she would meet a lot of dudes in Walmart. That was her, you know what I'm saying? She would go to Walmart and she would hit me like, Jay, I met somebody else in Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Or I mean, at that time, I'm saying dudes was shooting, man. I had homegirls be like, yo, dude, I was at the gas pump and the dude came up shooting. You know what I'm saying? It was a different ball game then.
So that's the double standard. They're still doing that.
If you don't holler at a chick when you see her at Walmart, chances are you probably not gonna never see her no more. Can you name a chick you seen at Walmart more than one time? Like, damn, I see her at Walmart, but it just doesn't happen.
Now, what was you saying,
Yeah.
Twiz? Dude still shooting like that?
Oh yeah, nah, dude, you gotta shoot your shot, man.
Yeah.
But Walmart that was when I first realized y'all use Walmart like a club. I was like, so we just gonna go to Walmart. Yeah. We just gonna go over here real quick. I was like, yo, this is some country.
Hey,
Right.
there was a certain point, Chuck Ski. Y'all can remember if you went to Walmart at a certain hour of night,
Absolutely.
where you would see a lot of things walking through.
Yeah, I ain't got that. Oh man. Shout out to the real easy money snipers.
Hey, I just had another flashback. One of my favorite Twiz stories. We were in Garden Palace. Y'all remember when Garden Palace was a club, right?
Oh man,
right?
Yeah.
GP, baby. So sometimes we would just chill in the parking lot. You know, sometimes I'd go in. I wasn't a great clubber though, you know, because I didn't drink, I didn't smoke. I just would be in there, just the environment or whatever. So
Jay was averaging like 2 minutes in the club.
Thank you, man. I was terrible, man. But so I remember we were walking through there one night, and you know, Garden Palace had those different levels to it. And we would walk. I think like we were on the second floor with some of the homegirls from work and stuff like that. And there was like this other little small room that had a door.
The reggae joint upstairs.
So Twiz like, yo, I'm gonna go in this reggae room. It was like, all right, we're gonna walk around some more. So I can't remember if it was that night or that next Monday at work or whatever. It probably was that night as I think about it, because he was gone for a while. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, everybody like, yo, man, where Twiz at? And then he popped back up, and he's like, yo, man, I went in that room, yo. And as soon as I walked in there, a joint got on me, man. I was like, what you want, boy? Oh, man. So Twiz was ducked off in that room for a while. And it gave him some rice and peas and some jerk chicken and let him out. But
I told you, man, I was fresh. I went from like around my way. I wasn't a clubbing person. So like,
yeah.
My initiation, like, to going out and doing other fucking down south.
Yeah.
And it was like all at once. Y'all had a 3-level, like, all in one. I'm like, yo, this is great. All right, man. What am I doing? Like, what am I doing here? This is crazy. Like, immediately, she on me. I don't know what she's saying. but she thick as all outdoors. I was like, man, look, all right.
Nah,
crazy. I had a ball, man.
Nah, but y'all boys too. Have y'all? What are these women when they're on their online profiles? Have you experienced where the online profile is a certain way, and then when you're meeting that initial first time, that it's like night and day, or is it typically that it is what it is? They are what they say they are online.
Twiz, you can go ahead, bro. I mean, from the one drink I was on, it's just a lot of demand.
Okay.
The door.
I can second that. Yeah, I went into the same thing. I own a couple of platforms that I actually have a profile, and you jump on in, see what it is or whatever. Like, a lot of them, man, they can, just by looking at the profile, like when they got like 10 paragraphs in their bio, bro, like they giving out, like, you know what I mean, all they do's and don'ts, and like telling you their whole life story. Like, I don't know if this gonna be the one, so I'm gonna keep going. But you see some of them, it's just like you said, it's just like so demanding. Like, damn, you read some of that sometime and think, like, are these really the standards like women have? Like.
I mean, it was crazy. I met a cool John. And we still chop it up. Like it's but my question was like, what the profile she read? Like, what are the guys that are actually saying? Because the ones we read are comical. Like, it's hilarious. So it's like, all right, I would just go in there. Me, like I said, I love comedy, so I pretty much got it after I realized it was like kind of BS. I did it during the pandemic. I was like, yo, this is hilarious. And then when I seen that jaw up. I was like, this is yo. I actually met one, and she turned out to actually be like her profile. Like nothing ever transpired or progressed or went anywhere, but like we just still cool. Like we just like mad cool friends. You know what I'm saying? Like so, I can probably say that's. I mean, on one hand, probably one of the only ones that's turned out like that. Like most of it is usually something totally different. Like Neve and them on that show Catfish, they gonna be busy forever, bro. Like there's a lot of food games be going on out here, so and a lot of them are doing it now. Like that's where they, like you said, like that's where everything is being sold at now. If you know what I mean, like it has gone there. So you gotta traffic through all of that too, because you're gonna run into some of that all to find what like slim pickings, bro.
Yeah, it's just more so. I just don't want to have to keep proving that I'm a good dude.
I'd rather stay home and roll and like Jada said, man, watch the honeymoon or something, bro. Like it's treacherous out here.
Now watch this though. So as we're talking about relationships and we start off early by talking about the difference between societal expectations of men and women in relationships. As dudes, so we got a good woman, or we're in these relationships. As men, let's own our parts of when relationships aren't successful. What is it as men that we're doing that is adding to the failure of relationships in the modern society?
We cheating.
Come on, I ain't gonna just roll with that one.
No. And let me make that clear.
I don't like putting that on no dudes.
Right.
We ain't no cheating.
Yeah.
I'm saying that from a perspective of being guilty of that in previous relationships.
I got you.
So that weighs a little bit more heavier on my side in the way that I look at that. Now, not necessarily that's not going to be the case for everything, but from my perspective, putting mine aside, I still think that's the main thing. But a lot of women these days are cool with that. Like it's cool now to be in a situation, an entanglement, or whatever. So, I mean, like you said, it's going to be looked at differently. But that would be.
To piggyback off that, I don't think they want that. That's the whole problem. They don't want that. They want the whole house, and they want to be in a relationship. They might say they don't. It's cool, but after a while, that shit hits you just like it hits most men who, again, have a lot going on for themselves. But towards the later parts of their years, they're like, you know what? I actually do want a kid. I want to settle down. But you gotta. It's the sacrifice. You're gonna sacrifice missing a good one, because you wanted to party, or like it's the sacrifice. So just that's all it is. I mean, it's not.
And you get a lot of them these days that's not willing to do that, bro. Like you find it's a less and less field of them that actually want to sit down and build something and want to have something with somebody or whatever. Like,
but he's talking about as a man though, like you, or are you willing to do that though? Like, are you willing to as a man?
If the right one come along and you feel like all the boxes are being checked and it's like some genuine, like, yeah, like at the end of the day, like that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Do you think Chuck and Twiz,
it might be corny, but I still believe in that 90s love, bro. I'm still looking for that Love Jones type of love, man. Like, if it ain't that, I ain't gonna settle for less than that.
How do we as men grow from that position if we're trying to have monogamous relationships? How do we grow out of that and grow into these more mature version of ourselves? Is it time? Is it experience? Is it dealing with our egos? What do you think it is?
But I think the people I know are doing that. Like I said, I can't speak from people who cheat or not doing what they're supposed to do. The people I rock with, like, that's to try the energy I keep. That's why I still rock with you. Like, I don't. So that's not even I don't know that percent of people. You know what I mean? I don't know that percentage of people. Like, so I wouldn't know. All I know is put out the energy you want. Like, like I said, even, I might talk about, the profiles and stuff like that, but I met cool people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I only met with cool people. Like, so, and that's only happened once, and I'm still talking to that person. So, but, in the process of it, it was funny to, see the reactions of different types of women to certain hurts, I guess they went through.
Mm-hmm.
But, those are the things they don't want men to come into the relationship with. It's just hard for them to want you to put yourself out there more than they want to put themselves out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like you have what all the options you have. And it's like, all right, this is kind of how you get crazy guys. Like, I want to manage my emotions, but I could see how some dude who followed all your rules went through all of that, and he's not an emotional dude. And then you're like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to go with this one. Mm-hmm. It's easy for me to be like, just move on. But some dudes can't take that.
So Twiz, from things that you've seen and experienced, what do you feel like the biggest divide between men and women has been in a relationship's success rate?
Judgment, like, just prejudging, like people.
Social media.
And I guess that could be a good one, but I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on one thing, but
no. But go. When you say prejudging, you mean, what do you mean when you say that?
Going into it, like, I got tired of having to prove that I'm not whatever you
again. Who you are. I know exactly what you're saying.
I gotta prove that I'm
not the other dude.
Like, look, I got my kids. I'm taking care of my boys. Like, that's what I do. Now I have to prove that I'm not a hoe on the side. Because because I got options. It's like, I don't want to have to fight that battle. Either you believe in your God and you believe he wouldn't put you in no weird position where there's a guy who seemingly was doing what he's supposed to do, but on the back end, he's living a double life. Like, if you thinking all of that, like, I'm not trying to fight an uphill battle from the beginning. Like, I need somebody with a little bit, that's not coming with that prejudgment of somebody else. So, outside of that, like I said, I've met the people, but that normally comes from them actually seeing me on a daily basis, seeing like, actually, like, he is a person. And that's normally how I meet most people outside of just online and stuff like that. Like, I know that's, like I said, I'm not the club person. I'm not the online person either.
Yeah. And that's one thing where Twiz and I, you highlighted is that, like, this dude is kind of laid back cat like me. And, we had the comedy and the appreciation of art and stuff like that. So I wasn't that kind of dude that, again, was just on the scene. I could have kind of everyday conversations with people. I'm always sitting around trying to have the deeper conversation, getting on folks' nerves. Like, Jay, why y'all trying to ask me some stuff, man? God, dog, but
we can go talk to Jay about anything, man. We're gonna give you a line or two just to think about while you just go make the wrong decision. And so many times we told me not to do something, we do it anyway. We're like,
He's like the Oracle.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So, Skeen, what do you think, man? And just, again, you're another one that has so many conversations with so many people. What's the great divide?
Are we looking? Whose perspective are we looking at? Are we asking this question?
I think I want to focus because, again, we're just trying to be extra testosterone this evening. What is it from the male side?
Okay. Why relationships are failing?
Yeah.
Okay. Like Twiz said, some of it is preconceived notions of who you are.
Yeah.
Kind of goes like the old Music Soul Child song, "I'm not to blame for all your past relationships."
Yep. Previous cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from a male perspective, right? I think we have to live. We're on the day to day. We can't be Clark Kent.
Okay.
We have to be Superman. And when I say that is, we have to keep on that cape of a persona of who we're supposed to be every day. The persona is that I'm supposed to be a player. My persona is that I'm supposed to be talking to these different women. Hence, when women see you and say, "Oh, I already know what type of person you are," they never really got to see the real you. Sometimes we don't even know who the real us are because we're always in character, playing this role. I know a lot of us also have never really took the time to apologize to ourselves for not really getting to be who we really are, or getting to really know ourselves.
Okay.
Because if you never really get to know who you are, you start picking the wrong ones based off of social currency.
There you go. Yeah.
Because you see that, she looks the part of this. If you really know you, then you know your values, and you say, "Hey, she don't align with who I am, what I'm really about." She nice though. She look good. She fit the bill of what the aesthetics that society tells me I'm supposed to be with. But outside of hitting, we have nothing in common. It's white noise.
Yeah.
So if we're looking more for when we go into relationships with that end all be all of the physical, what I'm trying to get in, trying to hit something tonight. And instead of saying, "Hey, I rather want to know more about you to see if I want to continue to see you every day, roll over and look at you every day."
Right.
That's really where a lot of it comes in, because a lot of times we'll hit first, ask questions last. You know
Never.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
So you in first now. After that, you got a kid or you got this.
You got to be able to cook collards. Oh boy.
Yeah, we got.
You can't cook a pot of collards, dog. We ain't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah, we got to look for our best friend, or who can potentially be your best friend, and who you say you can wake up every morning and look at and say, "Hey, I'm cool."
Right. I think too, it's a lot of this is, it's part of the gumbo of what makes a successful relationship. But talking about from the male perspective, highlighting what Chuck said, we start off life where sometimes we have good examples of what we should be doing in our relationships. But then we grow and we go into the real world, and you're navigating finding yourself as a young man and dealing with interactions with women, and how am I relating to these women? And then also as men, we even have a social pressure from our peers of what we doing out here.
That's superhero cake,
right?
You got to keep on.
Hey man, what you ain't knocked that joint down? You ain't doing this, that, and the third. So you got this social pressure that's there. And then there's a social currency even before social media, where you were getting the accolades from your homeboys of all the conquests that you had.
It's the cape.
You see what I'm saying?
You got it.
So as men, we have to, again, navigate that part, navigate our ego, and then we get into a space where we like, okay, I want to settle down and be in this relationship. But we also have to make sure that we properly communicate our intentions of what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go as men. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because oftentimes we don't properly communicate that.
Got a question.
Go ahead.
Do we need more relationship OGs?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we got to lay the game down to dudes and to young men from the perspective of the mistakes that we made, because like I said, sometimes experience is overrated. You know what I mean? Now, if you tell me, hey man, if you walk down that path right there, there's a grizzly bear, I'm going to be like, you know what? I appreciate that, bro. I'm not walking down there. But so often these days, like, man, I need to experience some things, man. Like, no, I don't need to get mauled. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to get mauled by a grizzly bear. And I think just as men, and a part of what we're doing here is you have to find, as I grow older, as I'm about to hit 40 next year, one thing that has been key in my relationship being successful is that I have somebody that's going to ride or die through the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that stuff, the frailties, my ego, my shortcomings. You have to find somebody with those wifely style qualities. Now, of course, as men, we're looking at women that men are more visually driven in general than women are. So we're looking at the aesthetics first, but you have to make sure that you're looking for somebody where again, she has those wifely type of goals, because when we envision marriage and relationships, we always envision it from the highlight package.
Mm-hmm.
You don't envision your relationship and your marriage from the losses. We don't envision how we're going to respond to the losses in life and relationships. Are we going to be able to stick and stay through a lot? It's like a team. It's I look at it this way and I'm talking about my faith, right?
Yeah.
It's easy for me to trust God when I'm making $1 million a year. I don't have to. I'm not really exercising my faith.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when I lose that $1 million job and we got to make adjustments. Where is my faith then? Yeah. It's the same way in the relationships, and whether it's with our significant others, it can be with my peers, it can be with people at work. When we're not getting along, like they say, sickness and in health. It's easy when I'm healthy and, I'm still able to get it in with you 2 hours, But what about when I'm not able to do that? Can you still rock with me? I loved her when she was built like this but we didn't have 2, 3, 4 kids, and we both working and we managing this thing. As Skeens was talking about, can I still have that thing within me where I wake up and look at her and can evaluate her from a position that is not solely based off of her framework and just thinking about this thing that we're building as a family and this legacy that we're trying to make?
But I think you got that too. I think you can have that too.
Yeah.
Even early on, like, come on now, you had that. Like, you could appreciate a woman, like, from the beginning. Like, all right, you might not be a model and all that extra stuff. Like,
indeed.
So it's not like, it's not like it's something that, like, we have to learn. Like, some guys got to learn that.
Yeah.
But on the same note, it's how you was raised, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it's something that hard that you got to really, like, attain for. Like, I seen that. Like I said, I seen that early. I appreciated my mom early on. So that was
for sure. For sure, dude.
Dude's a piggyback off of.
Go ahead,
Chuck.
What
Jay was saying, it's kind of like you do look at it from a different perspective. Like, as you get older,
you do.
Kind of like the perspective when you look at it through the lens when you're younger. Kind of like buying a car when you're younger. Yeah. Like, you just want the flash. Like, it's all about the flash and the look. Mm-hmm. And you don't even at 21. You ain't even looking under the hood to see what's in
you
there.
don't look for the same qualities at 21 that you do when you 40. You don't. Yeah,
you're starting to look at it different. Like you said, the aesthetics is the first thing it goes to, but after a little bit more, like, you want to kind of see what's under the hood and, like, see if this is going to really be, like, something, like, worth exploring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, indeed. And I think, again, people, we have to be expecting, because not only are you going to change as a person, but your significant other is going to change throughout the relationship. And as those peaks and valleys of life come, is how do you deal with it? Because most relationships falter when what I call the work phase of the relationship starts. Because, again, it's the reason why they call it falling in love, because it's so easy. You start hanging out with a person, they're beautiful, you attractive, we hanging out, we kicking it, we getting it in, and we just go down we literally fall down the hill of love. And when you get to the bottom of that mountain or that hill, then you're like, oh, wait, there's all this stuff back here that we haven't dealt with. There's all this stuff back here that we have to deal with. And in that work phase, nobody wants to climb out of that hill, essentially. Go ahead, Skeen. What you got?
Question. Who controls the narrative about us? Like, what we should be? Who controls that narrative?
Good point.
Because I think the narrative about always being the place.
They control it right now. I think women control it.
Well, it's
not to cut you off, but in my sense, I think they control it because they dictate what's going to be acceptable and pretty much what they out here looking for. Mm-hmm. All we can be is us. Yep. Like, half of them gonna fake it anyway, but at the end of the day, once they peel all those layers back, they gonna really see through it and see, like, oh, this dude ain't really got nothing going on or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But nah, dog, I think you dictate just as much as she do. I mean, shit, I dictated. I think that's what I learned.
Like,
hey, look,
I feel like I say that because men is predicated. He's judged on basically like he's only loved if he's bringing something to the table.
Mm.
Everybody else, women, and you know what I'm saying. It's gonna be accepted regardless. But a man gonna get treated totally different. Like if he's, you know what I mean, what he's bringing to the table is more significant than, you know what I mean. Like it's all about your
until you find the one that love what you bring to the table.
But then
That's all it is, man. You can't just worry about the ones that ain't gonna appreciate you know what I mean, your 80 grand a year or your 100 something grand a year. Like, man, fuck it.
but then
I mean, you know, we don't care about that anyway. But I'm just saying, like, in their mindset, like, I feel like that's the number one thing that it turns to at the end of the day.
But see, then again, it goes back to the question: who controls the narrative?
Mm-hmm.
So the narrative about us was pushed to them as well about what they should want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's somebody pushing the narrative to us about who we should be and
Right.
how we supposed to live up to these unrealistic expectations amongst each other.
Okay.
So I got to be in hiding or play this role because of the narrative that's pushed to me about me.
Okay.
There's someone pushing the narrative to them about, oh, those dudes over there ain't no good.
Mm-hmm.
Or those dudes over there he's a bum, like the one Cardi B song, broke dudes don't deserve none.
Right. Okay.
Who's pushing these narratives to them about us in these negative narratives? Because it ain't us. We don't control the airwaves.
Mm-hmm.
We don't control media. We don't even control the music that we listen to,
Right.
that we perform day to day. Someone's controlling this narrative about us in a negative. Because how often do you see men, especially black men, portrayed in a positive manner? How often do we see that?
Man, it's rare.
Thank you.
Rare.
Thank
like,
you.
You can count on one hand how many times you see it. Like,
which in turn,
movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think if the narrative about us change, some of the way we value relationships or the way we enter relationships, and sometimes the way women look at us would change if the narrative about us to change. That's no different than if you meet a white person from Utah, for example, who never met a black person, but all they see are all the negative connotation, all the stereotypes about us. When they actually meet Jay, and he talks differently than what they heard, the ratchet or whatever that they're being marketed to, and he talks totally different. They're like, man, you're different than all the other black people. How do you know? Because they've never met a black person, but the way they've been marketed, the black people, that the portrayal that they've seen has always been negative. That's the same way with us. We're always marketed and portrayed in a negative light. So we take on that persona because that's part of the callous that we put up. They say, "Oh, you want the bad guy," but when dudes say you've been a cheat, or you've been accusing me of cheating all the time, so I might as well cheat, so I'm gonna get accused of it. It's kind of the way that some men take that persona.
Right. Now, Twiz, I heard you say it's getting better. Did I hear you say that?
I said, it can't be. I don't think it's getting any worse. I mean, like I said, it gotta get better, man. I don't think it's good at all.
Well, I think a part of it, again, the beauty of this conversation that we're having right now, and that we want to popularize, is that men can get together, discuss our frailties, be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? Discuss where we come up short. Because again, Skeens and I always talk about all of us are flawed on this experience and this journey, man. And a part of my relationship with you guys is being able to be honest about it and then learn from each other, right? But to piggyback again off what Skeens was talking about, one thing that I want to change about the narrative, two things: the narrative of marriage and relationships, because people, Jay, you and Liz, do y'all ever argue? Y'all have the perfect. Man, no, it's not perfect by the long shot. And, Liz has rolled with me through a whole bunch of my imperfections. You know what I'm saying? And now we are at a very mature place now. But even here's the thing, you can't rest on your laurels and be like, I don't still got work to do, because I could easily falter and fall off and be somewhere where I ain't supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a part of the continual journey. Number one. Number two, as men, we can't be locked into, as Mario was talking, as Skeens was talking about, having just the superhero cape on all the time. And a friend of mine, a mentor, a pastor friend, he wrote a book years ago called Seasons of Masculinity, and it's talk about the masculine journey. And oftentimes, because of societal pressure and what they tell you that and in reality, like Chuck was saying, a man for the most part is evaluated by what he does and what he brings. That's how we evaluate it. So because of that societal pressure, a dude is always out there just trying to conquer, overcome, provide. But on this masculine journey that we're on, we have to show that us as men, that we're much more multifaceted than that. You know what I'm saying? There's a part of me that can sit with my sons, and Twiz has sons, where I'm sitting with them and building with them from a different level. And I'm not like always in a mode where I'm like I'm in a coach mode. Come on, you just got to go out there and kill. And then, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm just sitting and chopping it up with Trey a certain way and trying to build with him as a young man. And, you know, Skeens being his godfather, sometimes we tag team him and talk to him. And you know how it is as a dad, sometimes they don't receive from us. So I might be like, hey, go tell your goddad what you did. And Mario Skeens can come to him and say, hey, man, you did this and that, man. Did you think about this way? Did you think about this? Did you think about this? And hearing it from his godfather, it hit him a different way. You know what I'm saying? So the masculine journey that we on is that we are multifaceted people. We're not just heroes. We're not just providers. We do have frailties. We do have shortcomings. And we do have a loving side of us that can communicate with our women, that can communicate with our children. And we have a side, really, at the end of the day, dudes just want to have, again, a peaceful household. And we do want to be able to provide for our woman and our children in a way where they don't have to worry about much in life. That's pretty much the goal. Yep. That's pretty much the overall goal of man. I met a dude, a Mexican guy. We went to the Kalahari Resorts water park in Round Rock. And I never met this dude in my life, but he had a son that was about the same age as Trey. And just from the kids being in the pool together and stuff, you know, we're kind of there together. So I'm like, you seem like a cool dude. He with his wife. So we just are, you know, we kind of just merged, start talking. Hey, man, do you mind if we get Trey a drink? Sure, get him a drink. Or you mind if we get him ice cream? Cool. His son's name was June. Hey, June wanted to go over here to this part of the water park. Is it cool if we come? Yeah, me and my wife will be right over there. Let me get your number, man. So we kind of get this little bond over a couple days. I see him down there. And he was, I think, he's a little bit older than me, 3-4 years older than me. He's a mechanical engineer. And we were just sitting there building, and he wants to say, he's like, Jay, what my goal in life is to be able to have this type of time with my family more, where I can spend building with my wife, building memories with my son, and not be amassed and under all this pressure and stuff from work. I want to have the time with my family. That's what we want. That's really what we want, man.
I'll ask y'all a quick question.
Go ahead.
As you say that, how often are you allowed to be vulnerable with your woman?
Boom. Great question.
Or are you? Do you feel comfortable being vulnerable?
Great question. Great question.
But hold on, cuz you answered that. You answered that too, Jay. You said your friend Ash told you that some women don't want to, they ain't ready to settle down.
Yep.
But what you explaining is the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
But if they not in that space, like they feeling good, looking good, that sounds good in theory. That probably be good for a couple months. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, that ain't what I want. But it's what I want. But that ain't what they want.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as they give a man just to be a man's piece, man, I think that's the biggest. During the journey,
yeah,
like you said, everybody, you talk about the end result.
Yeah.
But during that middle space, you can't get to the end if you can't take the ups and downs. Like
yeah, man.
Said. But during that time, just be his peace, and then you get the end result. You see it in him. You with him, obviously. You picked him.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting some slack in between time, and then you be all right.
Chuck, have you been able to be vulnerable with women in your relationships, or you felt like it had diminishing returns?
You know what? That was actually something that I had to work on,
Mm-hmm.
and I got better with it over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt me, having to be vulnerable and look yourself in the mirror and like just having to accept, be able to look at your flaws and accept them and like be willing to put in the work to try to make it right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's like a part of just like, opening yourself up. Like everybody don't get to see it that deep. So I mean, there was times where like, yeah, I felt like I was with someone that I could be vulnerable about, and they would, kind of help you build on those things and piggyback off of what you said at the end of the day. Like that's one of the main things that we out here looking for. That's one of those things, like you want to feel like you can get to that level and be able to have that open type of trust and communication, and that person's going to be there for you during those times, because it's not always pretty.
Indeed. Now, you know what, Chuck, I never asked you this. What was I don't know what your family dynamic was like as far as mom, dad, who was like your male mentor coming up?
It was my grandparents, man.
Okay.
Like me and my brother, we were raised by my grandparents. Unfortunately, it was kind of the whole 80s stories, man. Mom on dope, you know what I mean? Social services come in and take us, somebody else in the family got to step up, and it was my dad's mom. Like, we went to live out in the country with them, and I got exposed to a totally different lifestyle. We went from kind of living in the city to on a farm with like pigs and the whole thing or whatever.
Wow.
So that was kind of like the upbringing. My dad was there frequently. I still kept in contact with my mom, but all those, morals and values and roots that got put in me, man, is by my grandparents.
Yeah. Now, Twiz, what was your the family dynamic for y'all?
As far as
now, I know.
I was raised by both, man. I was pretty much like you. Like my dad was military.
Mm-hmm.
We traveled. They divorced, but we got to travel pretty much the same. Ended up with moms, and always had a strong black kids, black men, uncles.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every dynamic. So I got to see, the good and the bad, but always strong black women on my dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, never mom's side too. So like I said, it was a little different. Like I said, I had a little different appreciation for women growing up.
Right, you did. And as much as Twiz used to argue with women, he was the first dude. He was like, "Yo, I learned how to hoop from my aunts. All my aunts could hoop." I was like, "What?" So it's the girls in the family that was the hoopers? I was like, "This is crazy. I never heard this in my life."
Because it'd be crazy. I'm coming down south and you seeing all these women like going through all these things. I'm like, "Yo, look, you ain't got no uncles. Like, you ain't got an uncle or cousin. Like,
right.
Look, my family, they not having that. Like,
right.
It might be one time, but then we all showing up. Like, it wasn't going down like that. So it was weird. That was kind of my arguments with them. Like, yo, so your family cool with you going through this?
Right.
Like, man, this is crazy. Like, all right, look, I can't help it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Like, it's crazy. But yeah, it was drama.
Indeed, but man, I knew it was gonna happen. We had 90 minutes, so I appreciate y'all brothers jumping on, man. Like I said, Skeens and I like to have y'all back soon. We'll so we can just talk some other cultural stuff, kind of everyday topics and stuff like that, man. But I appreciate y'all, brother. Any parting shots from anybody before we close out?
Nah, man, shout out, man. Appreciate y'all for letting me on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for we got artwork.
Oh, yeah. Push that, Twiz. My bad, man. I'm asleep, man. Do that.
Man. That's right, definitely. I got that coming out sometime next month, man, to be dropping. But clothing, always art everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Dime, print. Shout it out.
Yeah, for real, man. I'll make sure we gonna be promoting that, man, and make sure we highlighting that in some of the episodes, man.
Send y'all some clothes, man, definitely.
Appreciate
Yeah.
no doubt, no doubt. And again, appreciate you, Jay, man, for having us on. I like what y'all boys doing with the platform, man. I can only see it going up from there.
For
Like
sure.
you said, man, we here for you. You know, we had to come to and support, brother.
Man, for real. And again, Twiz, man, I've had some artwork he did of me and my baby sister in my house for, again, for years. It's still upstairs
Oh, that's crazy.
right now. So that's traveled to several houses with us, man. Because here's the other, again, I'm gonna close out with this, man. And as always, Skeens and I are always talking about relationships in one way or another. That's where it goes back to, right? Even in the Verzuz battle, we talked about one of the key components in the Verzuz battle was looking at the relationship that the Locks had, and it came out evident in their raps and their performance, right? The reason that we're on this call right now is because relationship was built. You know what I'm saying? And a part of these relationships and this community that we're trying to build is based off of us supporting one another. Again, even when we miss the mark, it ain't about how we ridicule each other, but it's how we say, hey, yo, I still got you and I rock with you, right? So I remember when Twiz early on, when people found out at work that he could draw. And so at that time, that was kind of when, to me, that was when everybody first started really trying to get a lot of tats and stuff like that. So they're like, hey, man, can you draw this for me? And I take it, can you draw this? Can you draw this? Can you draw this? And they like, okay, cool. Not knowing how dedicated this man is to his craft and the time he was spending his off hours drawing these things. And, oh, can you draw a portrait for me? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So Cass would come back, like, and Twiz would bring the drawing or the sketch or whatever. And they're like, oh, okay, appreciate it. And Twiz is like, oh, well, yo, there's a cost for this. Yeah. And then that's when people would get funny. Yeah. And I asked him to draw that picture of me and Haven. And I can't remember what it was, but because he my man, and I was, again, talking about the community, talking about the relationship he had, it's also investing into him and what he's about. That's how we keep this community flowing and going, is investing into one another. So, we did it back then. Y'all doing it right now by, again, support me and Skeens. And then we can take it and grow it and pay it forward in other type of ways. So we're going to continue to do that with what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, it's been another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man that is always heard and never seen, Skeens. And we will holler at y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.